What is going on, my friends? Welcome back to another video. If there's one thing about the next video or two, I will say they are definitely going to be a little random and all over the place. But instead of not having a video for the next week or so, because we are pretty much mid-prep for Ultimate Callout Challenge, which is coming up in the next week. I think we're down to like 9 days, something like that. We'll put the dates on the screen. Ultimate Callout Challenge, huge event. Definitely have to be there, but we are going to have a bunch of different trucks there, both the semis. It's the Super Bowl of diesel events, and we will be there in full swing. So make sure you guys come out if you've been there before and you've seen where we've pitted the last year or two. Come check us out. Come find us. We'll be there with the big tent with all the trucks. It's gonna be an awesome time. Come find us in the staging lane area. But again, like I said, instead of not having any videos because we're running around like crazy with our heads cut off, we're just gonna give you the random snidbits of everything that we're kind of doing with no real sense of you never know what you're gonna get. We're gonna start working on the second gen burnout truck because there's a few things that I wanna wrap up, and there's some info. Every time we do something, there's always at least one solid tidbit of information that is going to help you. So that's what we're gonna kind of do throughout this video, maybe the next one too. But also, at the end of this video, or 3/4 of the way through, Wrench Works giveaway number 19, Kyler Smith with the Mineral Gray 4th Gen picked up his new whip. We did, instead of a separate video, we're gonna put it at the end of this video. Awesome, dude. Go check it out. Make sure you guys stay till the end. But anyway, what are we getting into on the second gen that I need to let you guys know so it doesn't happen to you? So what we're doing here, we are on the passenger side of the engine block. We got a new turbo on here. We got our stainless diesel blanket there. We have got our freeze plugs out of the side of the engine here because they have just been leaking ever since we got the truck, and we never really changed them out, but they've just been leaking and leaking. And I've had quite a few instances where I have fought those freeze plugs leaking. Now, most times, I won't say all the times, but what happened on this truck, these are the ones that were in the truck. A lot of times, what you see here, this piece that goes actually fishes inside the engine and kind of sandwiches against the block to hold this in place. Well, this flat bar right here is a lot of times the problem. So here's what I'm getting at. If you look on this block here, you can see that the block is actually almost curved on the inside. The casting has a ridge where it's not actually completely flat. So when this flat piece goes to sandwich and sit on the back side of the block, it's actually not sitting on a flat piece, so it doesn't actually seal. So those, I don't even know what brand these are. Again, these are so anyone and everyone kind of makes these, but the perfect instance of get what you pay for. Not all parts are created equal. So we have used, honestly, I would say we've used D&J, and these we've used a lot too. These are from Keating Machine. Now, if you look at this piece of metal on the back here, it is cut for an angle. So what this does when it sits in your block, kind of like this, the backside ridge and the casting of your block actually meets up with that angle of the block. So when you sandwich it down, you actually don't get something that ends up kind of cocking to the one side, cocking to the other, because that flat piece isn't actually sitting really nicely on the back side of the block. So first tidbit of this video is, like I said, D&J, these are Keating Machine. We use a lot of Keating Machine stuff. I would just spend a little bit more money, get the ones that have that on the back side of it. Not saying that these won't work, depending on your application. Maybe some older trucks where the back of the block is not angled like that, it's not really that big a deal. But what ends up happening is this kind of kicks, or when you really tighten them down, just doesn't really sit nicely, and it kind of just distorts this just a little bit. So if you're going to reuse these also, make sure you put new O-rings on them. So these can fight you a little bit, but that's kind of what I found and what I'm pretty sure is going to be the issue with those sealing up. So we're going to swap those out. Going to do that first, and then on this truck, I've noticed it, and it got pointed out. It got pointed out one time, and after that, I'm just like, you know what, we got to actually do something about it. So we made the interior nice. We swapped the cab. We did all that, and you know, we've got this glaring steering wheel in our face that really just doesn't cut it with how we moved the arc panel. We made this thing real nice. So what we're gonna do, and I'll run you guys through this. If you're looking to put maybe an aftermarket steering wheel in your truck, this kind of goes from 2nd gen, 3rd gen. We'll get into it. We may have got like a little quick release hub. This steering wheel is like the OG one from the 05, which we're gonna reuse. So we'll get into that here in a little bit, but I'm gonna set you guys up. We're gonna go ahead and swap these freeze plugs out, get those done. That way we don't have to worry about leaking water. We got 2 of them in. A couple last install tips here, which may seem very obvious, but I'm going to tell you anyway, just in case they're not. Lube is your friend.
That's what she said.
Lube up the inside of the bore of the block, and lube the O-ring here. I'm not talking about like grease, just like some simple spray lube. This is kind of like what we use. Just some good lube. Don't go in dry. Also, red Scotch-Brite the inside of that. Make sure that that is completely clean. You fish this through the block, and it's very hard to see underneath there. So imagine this is now inside the block. I will take, you know, your socket here, and I will try to keep tension on the block, like pulling this out this way while I am spinning this. This is even hard with 2 hands here. So I'm going to try to tighten this while I have tension on the back here, making sure that this stays straight up and down while we're spinning it. As tension will have it, pull this piece inside, and then it kind of like almost centers this to push it in completely centered. You want to make sure you don't cut this O-ring either. I've had that happen. If you kind of try to shove it in crooked and all that stuff, this can get cut. That's why you use a lot of lube. So as you're spinning this in, see how this just tries to get unhappy? So if you keep some tension on the block and you spin this in with the tension in it and pull it in, it'll kind of make sure that this doesn't move. It should find its home pretty naturally, but in case it doesn't, you know, some of these things are just a little finicky. You got to play with them, but that's how I do it, and you should be good. Hard to see in there, but the freeze plugs are now officially done. We just got to fill it back up with some water. Instead of bouncing to the steering wheel, we will get to that here in a little bit, but I'm not sure if anybody's like this, but it is later in the afternoon. The sun's going to go down in a few hours, and we've got stuff to do outside. So before we lose all daylight out here and worry about pulling this thing inside, because we don't really need to, on our last trip out here, we blew an airline from this tank to that tank, pretty much losing all secondary air. So we ran and got some new airline. Not sure exactly why this one failed, but we were able to plug this up. It just pulled out of the fitting, and we were able to kind of run home with just one less air tank. But we're gonna go ahead and fix up the 389 while we got some daylight. That'll be the next thing on the list. Again, I told you we were just gonna be jumping around a little bit. So new airline fix coming up. Well, it is honestly truly impossible to see back in here, but the other air tank is directly behind this box, and this line right here, which kind of went up and fed this line right up here, was the one that blew. And I don't really have any tech tips for you other than make sure your lines, no matter if they're air lines or what, have enough slack, you know, to move around a little bit. So we got that fixed up, and we'll cross that off the never-ending list. One other big thing that we went ahead and did on the Peterbilt as well, I'm not sure if you guys remember, a while ago we have been fighting a check engine light on this truck pretty much since we got it. We had changed fuel filters on the thing. It was basically coming up with a water and fuel sensor fault, but the filters were very, very dirty. So it's got new fuel filters in it, cleared the codes, kind of came back after a little bit. We ended up putting a new water and fuel sensor in this, and that went ahead, and as of right now, that has fixed our biggest issue with the Peterbilt, which makes me extremely, extremely happy. One thing that I did find very funny was when I went to go order the water and fuel sensor, they, like, again, if you're gonna order it from the dealer, you need your VIN number anyway, but they were like, oh, that's interesting. Like I needed the VIN to even order the part. Like there was almost like a shortage, or they were dealing with something with this specific part. Like it would not let them order it. It was almost kind of like limited quantity unless you had a VIN number and provided it with. So like, kind of just leads me to believe that they are having some maybe issues with either the supplier or something. It was a little bit different. We did actually have to like unpin because it kind of came with a different connector, but that's the one that they provided. We just kind of like swapped the connector to work with my wiring because maybe they're having a wiring thing as well. It's got this really funky swivel part of this connector, which is kind of weird. So I'm not sure. I mean, it's really just a 2-wire. The sensor's not really like all that big of a deal. You know, it's just a water and fuel sensor, but there was a bunch of stuff all in that filter when I went and changed it. So there was some stuff I think from a while ago, like going through the tanks or something like that. But anyway, I think we got her figured out and fixed, and Miles will tell us that, but a new water and fuel sensor did take care of the check engine light on the Pete, so I'm super happy about that. All right, we're back on the 2nd gen on the not so nice steering wheel. If you can see inside here, you know, this thing has seen, you know, a lot better days. So we need to take care of this. First off, airbags. I believe it's 2 10mm bolts right here. And on the other side, this is an airbag, so you might want to disconnect your batteries. Then you've got a nut behind here, and then we'll get this wheel off. All right, I know, crazy enough, it's actually an 8mm, not a 10mm. After those 2 8mm or 10mm, you've got all this junk underneath here. Don't mind that. Here's one. The one they say, oh my gosh, be so careful with. Boom, there you go, airbag off. Wheel is centered. Undo this nut. 13/16. Come on. There we go. Okay. Instructions say to now beat the crap out of the wheel until it comes off. Okay.
5 minutes later.
As crazy as it sounds, all we really did was just take that nut off and kind of just wiggle the crap out of this thing. It is actually keyed, but this model of this extraordinary 2nd gen, it does have cruise control, which again, you are, you know, aftermarket steering wheel. It is race only, racetrack use only. So cruise control, we're just gonna kind of ditch. Airbag, you know, we die like real men around here. Horn, maybe we can get that to work. I think that's no big deal. But it is keyed, it is slotted. Oh, there it is right here. It's right on top. There she is. So what you're gonna need, you're gonna need this hub, and this hub is keyed. Once you get the hub connected to there, then you're gonna use the supplied 6-bolt pattern, and that is gonna adapt to either a straight steering wheel or in a quick adapter. So let's get this thing on, and we'll kind of explain once I know that she's good to go, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna go ahead and ditch all those connectors. That looks a million times better, and we have a gold quick release that worked. And I forgot, the horn's not really gonna work because there's actually just no horns on the truck, so we don't even have to worry about that. So what we've got is we've got our adapter hub that will get you to the 6-bolt pattern, and then we've got our quick release, which kind of bolts up to that 6-bolt flange. You don't really have to use a NRG wheel. Again, we had this Sparco, but the 6-bolt pattern just kind of lines up. They make the hubs able to kind of go with a bunch of different wheels, but looks way more fitting, a little bit more racy, even though, you know, burnout trucks need, you know, need race love too. I can't get it. You can barely get it off with one hand, but it is super nice, and it looks really cool, and you know what, I love it. And you know, if you love it, that's all you need to know. But I will show you guys the part numbers for that hub. I'm not exactly sure if it is 2nd gen only. I want to say it might actually work for 3rd gens too. Oh, there you go. It says 98 to 09 right on it. Short hub, just like you, little short hub. And then you can use whatever adapter you want and whatever wheel you want. But the main spline short hub there, that's what you need. That's what kind of like looks good. And again, you might have to mess with your clock spring stuff like that. We didn't really have to deal with that on this truck specifically, so I don't have all of those specifics to show you. But anyway, Burnout truck is officially done and ready to party at Ultimate Callout Challenge, minus some wheels that were getting new tires put on. Just kind of knocking out loose odds and ends. There were some other things that we did that I didn't really show you guys. We're working on rewiring the front neck of the race trailer, kind of like how we did with the step deck, which I don't think you guys saw. We actually ended up moving. Here, I'll show you guys on the 379, because a lot of random tidbits. So ever since the 389 hookups are in the back, because we don't want to mess up the deck plate on it, we had a weird combo of trailer hookups, because the 379 used to be all the way up here, and the neck and all of the trailers, the wiring was just in the front, so it just kind of was always a pain in the butt to swivel it right here. So we ended up moving our plug to the back here for the time being before we go ahead and redo the entire truck, just so both trucks and both trailers are the same. We ended up just like, it was such a pain last year with the way that the factory wiring plug connectors were up in the front. The way the trailers were swinging, it always tried to like rip it out, pull it out. It was always kind of a pain. So what we did on the step deck, which is completely done now, we've got a corded, you know, flexible deal that will hook up underneath the truck now, which is way nicer. You can get that sucker right on Amazon. But that's really nice because it bungees and it's a 7-way. Most normal trailer places are not going to have that in stock, I found, but it's like a 12-inch long coiled 7-way that we're doing. So we are going to end up doing the same thing, but it's not, seems real simple, right? Well, up on the race trailer, we ended up having to take down all of the paneling because it was all ran through here, and we had to kind of like fish it from different places. So, you know, just like everything else, everything takes much longer than anticipated, but again, just part of the random nonsense of getting everything ready. The shorty happened to eat an alternator, so we are putting a new alternator on the shorty. Need to get that thing all cleaned up, but that is pretty much gonna wrap it up, my friends. We will see you guys at Ultimate Callout Challenge, and we're just gonna keep trucking. We still need to put the billet engine in the 05, because that is gonna be there no matter what, and we still have a full interior that needs to be put in the single cab. So we're gonna do that. Early morning around 5 o'clock, and that is because today is an important day. It is giveaway winner pickup day. Rangeworks giveaway number 19 winner Kyler Smith, all the way from Montana, is flying into Nashville. So his flight gets in at like 6 o'clock. So that means we got to be on the road, go pick him up so he can come get his new truck. Honestly, I say it all the time, but one of my favorite builds, this color, this powder coat color on this granite crystal 4th gen G56 truck, honestly insane color combo, the way we did it up, but super exciting day for my man Kyler, who is getting a new truck plus the 10 grand that it came with. So if you guys missed Rangeworks giveaway number 19, the next truck is coming at you very soon, so stay tuned for that. As always, guys, can't say thank you enough if you guys get in any of the giveaways, support us in any way. Just appreciate every single one of you guys following along, making it happen. Couldn't do it without you guys, so thank you as always. Appreciate you guys a ton for getting in on all the Rangeworks stuff. All right, guys, we got Kyler, John, Tim. Are you ready to see your new truck, brother?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. in videos.
It looks way better in person than in video.
Think it looks a little different in person?
Oh yeah.
That's fucking cool. Sure gonna turn heads in Billings, I tell you that much. 90-year-old, nice truck, huh, buddy?
Oh yeah.
Does this seem real now?
Oh yeah. Something else. That's my favorite part of the mirror.
You like the mirror?
Yeah, he told me that. I said, yeah, that's pretty cool. He's like, did you see the mirror? I said, no. And then I went back and saw the video.
It's so you just like you peek over there where you're like, oh man, you can,
just look.
you can see everything right there. You know,
Everybody's like, short people can see it now.
yeah,
Yep. And it's an absolute blast to drive.
Oh, I bet.
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna keep it turned down though for a while. Holy cow. I'm gonna get in trouble with this.
You definitely will.
Yeah? Let's say I can hear you guys running from a mile away.
I told him it's a little loud. You know, you can definitely hear it. For as much as I know that he doesn't smile, he's smiling.
Smiling?
He's smiling quite a bit today.
Good deal. Good deal. It's good meeting you.
Good meeting you. Oh yeah. Thank you.
It's good meeting you. Yeah, y'all be good.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Absolutely. First winter pickup where we've had like torrential downpour.
Yeah.
Like it's about to tsunami tonight.
There she goes.
There she goes. There she goes. Rentrix giveaway number 19, officially in Kyler Smith's hands. Amazing opportunity. Appreciate you guys so much for always supporting us, getting in on these giveaways. We are getting rained on, but you are getting dumped on, like literally right there. Next truck's coming at you guys real soon, so make sure you guys stick around for that. Awesome meeting Kyler and his dad and his buddy. Another amazing truck in an amazing hands. So he's gonna learn how to drive stick, and I think that is really cool. You know, you young guys out there who do or don't, I mean, nothing better than a perfect vehicle to start driving stick on is a diesel truck. But that's pretty much a wrap. We'll see you guys. Stay tuned, wrenchworks.com.